You know, every time I hear that riff, I just think, well, I'm gonna cut in and, we'll get the video started. But every time I hear that closing riff, I just kind of like to let it play out because it's cool. I like it. I like it. It's got this very mellow vibe to it. Well, anyway, hey guys, thanks for joining me. Tonight we are looking at another FlySky radio. So I'll start out by letting you know this video is sponsored by FlySky. Thank you to FlySky for sending out the Nirvana NV14 for me to take a look at and share with you guys. First look. This is a first look. I've never laid hands on this radio before either. This was part of the package that I got, and I can promise you no other FlySky radios, at least that I know of, in the box. This is the last one. So the FlySky NV14, this is another one that, the Edge crew, they're working on this one, and I know that this one supports Edge right now. So this one, unlike the Paladin, this one will be getting Edge. I'll play around with OpenTX a little bit, but that's not why we have this one. We have this one for Edge. So Edge is going to go on this radio in fairly short order. So before we get into the box, I thought we'd take a look. Well, I'll turn this off first, but I thought we'd take a look at the black board. Let's spend a few minutes talking about the specifications on this radio. So this one is a gamepad style. And while I say gamepad style, it's not like the minis. It's kind of a full size feeling radio in your hands. It definitely is unusual looking. I'll grant that. I've looked at this radio several times, and one of the main reasons I never went after it and got one is because it is odd looking. I'll grant that. It is a little strange looking. So let's see here. We got I know I saw Robert come in early. He was in here right away. Dragon Killer said he won't make the live stream, but he'll catch it later. Brutus says that thing's not a looker, is it? The more I look, the worse it gets. Well, that just means you're not drinking enough beer, Brutus. That's the problem there. Cliff Andrew says, so does it fly while you hold on to it? You also are not drinking enough beer. Philip Jang, how you doing, buddy? William Tam, hello. JDM Dino Systems, hello. I'm waiting for you is back. I have the underground FPV collecting dust. So, okay, that's it for the comments. Let's get into the specs on this one. The list price, if you go, and I do have links in the description if you want to go buy one of these. I've got the FlySky store. I've got a couple of others if you want to check them out. This one goes for $196 retail. This one also, as you can see, it has the FCC ID, N November 4 Zulu, November Victor 1400. I looked it up. That's a current number. This one supports AFHDS 2A. It uses frequency hopping spread spectrum with Gaussian phase shift keying, or frequency shift keying rather. 14 channels on the radio, Hall effect gimbals, support for external modules, and it runs on some 18650 batteries, but it has a cool little trick up its sleeve. So check this out. The batteries run in parallel. So what that means is you can run with just one battery at a time, and while you're flying, say you're out doing a long range flight and you need to change your batteries out, you can change one and replace it, and then change the other and replace it, and you'll be back up to full speed. Kind of cool. Not a bad idea. I kind of thought that was a neat thing. This one comes with OpenTX 2.1.16 installed, and it is a touchscreen OpenTX. So weird, huh? I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was any iteration of OpenTX that was touch. Edge, I thought, was the first one, but apparently it's been out there. It also takes advantage of the keyboard, I believe. I'll have to check that. I'm pretty sure it does. This one has a 320 by 480 screen. It's capacitive touch, but remember, this one stood up on its side. It's not horizontal like you're used to seeing, the 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It probably is 16 by 9, but it's rotated on its side. This one has USB charging, no wireless charging, and unfortunately, sadly, uses a micro instead of a USB-C. But in fairness, this radio is a little older. This is not a brand new release. It's been around for a little while. It does support voice and haptic, and it's got an RC channel resolution of 4096. And then on the price tag, the same thing that went on with the Paladin, the same deal, right? You get a couple of receivers with this one that are included. I priced them out at about $40. So that puts the price of the radio, if you just bought radio only, at about $156. And it has a protective cover. We'll get into that in just a minute. Next up, we'll talk quickly about the receivers. They're very basic receivers. One looks like it's for a whoop. It's a 200 meter range. iBus 8-channel AFHDS2A 2.4 gigahertz, real simple little thing. And then the X8B, that's a $22 receiver. That one's 8-channel. It supports iBus and PPM, and they say range is greater than 300 meters. Kind of unusual, but that's what they say, greater than 300 meters. So that's it on the spec sheet. Let's go ahead and get over to the camera and take a look at this. And I am going to turn off the chat so you guys can see the radio. We want you to focus on that. And I'm going to check questions. What's the rules on drinking and flying? Again, that's a big no, but we're not flying. We're just watching videos and hanging out on YouTube, right? So drinking is authorized. Smoke them if you got them. High Speed. Hi, John and everyone. How you doing? H Speed. Adrian Mateo Drones says, good evening, buddy. Good evening. How are you? How is everyone doing this evening? Very good. Adrian's feeling social tonight. Kay Anthony, hello from the UK. Always like the look of the Nirvana. Yeah, it's got to be one of those things. I think when it comes to the looks department, it's a love it or hate it kind of proposition. But anyway, let's open it up. And again, I give FlySky props for the presentation. They do a nice job. It's a nice presentation. Everything inside is very well packed. Of course, there was an outer box when I got this one, but this is how it comes out of the box. And I'm going to turn off this lower third thing. I don't like it. It's in my way. I don't want to see that. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, before I turn that off, I just want to remind you guys 2 things. Thanks to FlySky. Well, 3 things. Thanks to FlySky for sending this out for review. Number 2, if you're not a subscriber, look at that. 70% of viewers don't subscribe. You see that? 70%. I've got 2 million views, which is not a huge number by YouTube standards at all. But man, out of 2 million views, 70% they're not subscribed. Subscribe, hit the button, and hit the like button too. That helps out. It's cool when you do that. And last thing I want to do is give a shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. You help me keep moving things forward by your financial contributions, so I appreciate you. Okay, here's what's in the box. I'm going to take this one out. This has got the little gadgets inside. We'll get into that in just a minute. I want to get the radio out of the box. Nice packaging, very safe plastic material, kind of keeps things from getting knocked around. I don't know what this stuff is called. I'm going to turn this thing back off now. We don't want that. Go away. So this thing has got a nice plastic cover right out of the box, and it seals up pretty hard against the bottom. And this color gradation on the metal, I do not know what that's called. If anybody knows what that's called, let me know. It's some kind of, I think it feels like it may be some kind of heat treatment, but it looks very precise. So I don't know exactly how they do that. It's different. I'll just say that it's different. Again, one of those things, you might love it, you might hate it, but one thing you got to give them credit for, it's creative. I've never seen anything like that before. It's kind of like a purple, blue, yellow, and then I guess chrome. I don't know what that's called. Let's see. I'm going to check the comments. Oliver Ward says, hi, late one here for the UK. Yep. Well, welcome, Oliver. Glad you can make it. Mark Z, let's see this puppy. I agree. We're going to pop the cover off in a second. Pacific Northwest Pilots. Wow, there is a new Nirvana. No, I don't think this is new. I don't think this is new. I think this is just this is new to me. I just got it. So a FlySky sent it out for me to take a look at. So no, I don't think it's new. Banggood, Underground FPV, Black Sheep was making it difficult for each of them in different ways. Put Underground out of business, allegedly made and designed by FPV pilots. Metal bluing, is that what it's called, Mark? Metal bluing is what this is called, apparently. I don't know. I've never heard of it before. Anyway, the batteries, they go in right here. These are the 18650 batteries. They screw in at the bottom, and hopefully, there you go. There's a little 18650 that I've got. That just pops in the bottom. Put the cap on and screw it in. I don't know that I'd want to do this while flying. maybe if I had return to home or, you know, some kind of loiter mode enabled, I guess that wouldn't be too bad. But anyway, let's take the cover off and we'll get a look at what's underneath. There we go. It is a hard snap-on cover, that's for sure. So plastic cover that protects the screen, the gimbals, all the switches up front. It's not terrible. And like we've discussed already, this one is, it's an unusual look. I will definitely grant that it is an unusual look, but let's go ahead and take this thing off. Oh, there it is. Everyone likes to peel that plastic off for the first time, right? There it goes. That's out of here. Oh, let's weigh it too. This is all up. I'll put the scale on right there. Let's weigh this thing. It's kind of heavy. Any guesses without looking it up? Anybody wanna guess at what the weight is without looking it up? Anybody? Bueller? Hey, is this thing on? Bueller? Anyway, anybody want to take a guess? I'm gonna drop it on there. You guys figure it out. I already know, but I'm gonna drop it on there. And There it is, 703, 703 grams. That's with the batteries. That's with the batteries in there. Brutus says it's cute. That's cute. I love peeling the cover. You looked it up, Brutus. Come on, man. You didn't know that. Are you kidding? Come on. All right, we'll turn it on. This is another one that you guys see the camera? Check out the camera. That's the one looking right down. You turn this one on with 2 fingers. So you give it a 2-finger press and hold. And the first couple times I did it, I thought I was doing it wrong, but you have to hold it for quite a while before it turns on. And then it finally powers up. You get a nice little FlySky logo on a blue background. And there you go. That's OpenTX. This one should look kind of familiar to you. This is OpenTX, the button up there for touchscreen. I was really surprised to see this the first time I did it. I had no idea this had a touchscreen. So, and it is a full OpenTX load. There are some nuances in here. For example, I went in and I went into the, you have to take a minute to figure out where the different buttons are. But I went in and I wanted to do a global function. So you slide across the top, and I think it's, nope, not that one, not that one. You got to start remembering the icons because they don't give you the names. There's a global function. And what I want, I probably need to turn, let me turn this down, the brightness, otherwise we're going to fight with it. Let me see if I can turn that brightness down for you guys. 1 second. Backlight. We're going to turn that way down so it doesn't blow out the camera and you guys will be able to see what's going on. There we go. I can zoom in a little too. All right, there we go. We're zoomed in. That'll give you a much better look at what's happening on the screen. Okay, so I went to do a global function and my first inclination was to put volume on a switch. So I hit edit and I clicked on the switch and I was looking for these dials, and these dials, I need my glasses to tell you what the dials are labeled. There's something like VRA and VRB. Let's see. Yep, VRA and VRB. So I started scrolling through and I didn't see VRA and VRB, which is a little like, you know, what's up with that? Because with VRA and VRB, you can do things like assign volume or your backlighting. So it's not available. Maybe I'll have to upgrade the radio firmware to get access to that, but I can tell you out of the box, not available. I also changed the color to red just to kind of tinker with it. But out of the box, it comes in blue. But anyway, these menus should all look very familiar to you guys if you use OpenTX. I mean, this is OpenTX. There's the hardware sticks. You can assign names if you want. There's the calibration screen. I ran through the calibration. It works just like OpenTX. And there's the information screen with the firmware version. You can see this is FlySky NV14 2.1.16. I guess they must have done some coding to enable touchscreen because that's not available in the mainline OpenTX branches, right? There's a quick start guide. You click on that, you get a little QR code to go get the manual, the quick start guide. There's a user manual, same thing, and a factory reset if you want to reboot. I guess it erases your radio settings and you start over. So that's it for settings. If you want to get into your model setup, you can go here. And again, this is just OpenTX. It's arranged a little bit different, but this is OpenTX. It's just like anything you've been used to all along. And the screen setup, you press that one on the right and you've got your screens. You can add screens. It looks like only 3 screens available, 1, 2, and 3. I haven't tried adding any yet, but it looks like, oh, well, I guess there's 4, 5, and 6 too. Yeah, pretty cool. Very good. It's very, very much what you come to expect. You can hit top bar and get to edit the widgets up there. It works just like OpenTX. I mean, it is OpenTX. So there you go. In fact, it almost feels, I know Robert was here earlier, and I hope he doesn't get upset when I say this, but it's almost like a OpenTX Edge hybrid. Of course, Edge is doing things differently. We all know that, but it's kind of like a hybrid. This is like Edge version 001, right? It kind of feels like that. So anyway, yeah, this is definitely OpenTX through and through. Now, regarding the gimbals feel a little soft. They are Hall effect gimbals, but they feel, to me, they feel a little soft, but very fluid. So I will probably look for a way to tighten these up. Regarding the throttle, I am mode 2, so my throttle is over here. Again, it's kind of the same thing as on the Paladin. I can feel the ridges, but I don't think they have one of those indented leaf springs in there to click on the ridges, so I don't feel that. But you can feel the ridges, so definitely there. All I can say is that the gimbals feel very good, but very soft for my touch. I like them a little bit with a little bit more resistance than that. Also notice they have, one thing I noticed about the FlySky radios, check out those stick ends. I mean, these things are the real deal. You don't normally see these, you know, the higher quality stick ends on the out of the box radios, the factory radios. You just don't normally see that. So that's actually kind of nice. That's a nice touch. And boy, do they get your thumb. You know, you really feel them when you hold on. So along the front top, we've got some toggle switches. We have a 1, 2, 3. These are close together. I'm not going to lie, these are close together. So when you try to operate this one, when you want to bring this one up, I guess maybe hitting it from the inside is the way to go, but they're close. This one's fairly easy to get to. The trim button, these are joysticks. So you trim by hitting the joystick, and you can see my throttle trim going up over there on the left, and we'll come back down with it. And then we'll go left and right with the rudder. There it goes. There's the rudder trim going all the way to the left. And then same thing on the right. The blue button operates the aileron and the elevator. I figured out why the Paladin gave me such a hard time with that yesterday. It's because when I think about helicopters, I kept thinking pitch. This is pitch of your blades when you're flying a helicopter. And whenever I think of pitch, I think of elevator. That's the fixed wing guy. I'm not mentally slow. My mom had me tested, but that's what got me yesterday. I kept thinking pitch was over here, and that's why I couldn't get the elevator trim to work out. But yeah, elevator obviously over here for you fixed wing types. Pitch over here for you helicopter types. So there's that. I'm going to check the comments real quick before I move on. Let's see. Brutus, okay, we're still guessing weight. K. Anthony said 695. That's good. You were close, K. Anthony. North 49 or Chris says, hello, all looks like I made it to this one. Good job, Chris. I'm waiting for you says it has the same type of protocol as the Platinum. This, well, you know, the book says AFH DS2A, not 3. The Platinum says 3. So I may have to do, well, I wonder if we can look at the, let's see, model settings. And let's see if there's a protocol in here. It just says FlySky. It just says FlySky. They don't tell you what protocol. So I don't know. The book says, what I can tell you is the book says AFH DS2A, not 3. The Platinum is 3. Oliver Ward says, well, how have they got the touchscreen going when we don't have that on a TX16S? Well, you know, Oliver, that's the nature of OpenTX, right? The company FlySky can take that open source OpenTX and fork it. They fork a copy on their own, and then they add touch. And it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I have no idea of knowing this, but it wouldn't surprise me if the EdgeTX guys looked at the FlySky code, because in theory, this should be published. It should, by the open source rules, any modifications, they should be shared, right? So it should be published. At least that's the way I think it works. Don't hold me to it. I'm not a developer, but that's what I think the deal is. I think the deal is if you take the code and you fork it and do your own stuff, you're supposed to make that available, I believe. I've reserved the right to be an idiot about that, though. Just goes to show, let's see, is OpenTX, let's see, it's been a while since I used mine. Okay, it's been a while since I used mine. Is OpenTX supporting it? I think it's a fork. So I think if you want to keep the touch, you probably, and you do want to keep the touch because you don't have any buttons. There's no nav buttons on this thing. There's no page right, no page left, no jog down, no return, no nothing. So if you want to have support for the radio, I'd be careful what you flash on this one. Let's see. Let's see. EdgeTX has that update for the TX16S. Yeah, just goes to show how long touchscreen has actually been in OpenTX. Yeah, Canty, no kidding. And by the way, on that note, I wanted to bring up the keyboard. See, there's the keyboard. That's there. And by the way, that same keyboard is in Edge as well now. So they've got it working in Edge. But there's the keyboard, and you can see I just did a little bit of testing, but you can back up, you can do stuff. So it's there. The keyboard's there. So let's see. Just goes to show how long. Yep, it's been there. It's been there in OpenTX. Nirvana, great band. Robert likes Nirvana. Yeah, they were pretty good. They had some good riffs. I'm waiting for you. Are you planning on taking them for a couple? Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. I'm definitely gonna fly these. I've got quads. This would be a great little quad radio. We talk about the looks. We did start with the looks, and I'm going to go through the rest of the buttons and all that stuff. But we talked about the looks, and I can tell you that from this perspective, this is me looking at the radio, holding it in my hand. It looks excellent. I mean, when you're holding it in your hand like this, it looks really good. It's the legs. That's what throws you off. It's the legs. But when you cover those up and you're just holding it in your hand, this thing looks and feels good, man. It feels like, you know, imagine a hammer. You know, imagine, you guys know what it's like to swing a hammer. Imagine some of those radios where they have no handle down here at all and you just kind of grab it. You got no real grip. You're kind of palming it up here like this, right? This has the big grip down the side, so it's like holding a hammer. You get your entire palm on there, and man, this thing feels, I think that's one of the reasons it doesn't feel like a tiny radio. That's why it feels like a full-size radio, is because those legs are firmly in the palm of your hand. There's a lot of, all this stuff is gone, right? It's all gone. On full-size radios, that would all be there. But what they did is they got rid of it. They moved all the brains into here and into the thickness, into the body of the radio. And this is all empty now. But the reason it feels full size is because these edges still exist. That's why it feels like a full size radio. So to me, this feels very natural in the hand. It's not like some of those small ones where I feel like, you know, it's always gonna slip out of my hand or I'm gonna drop it. It doesn't feel like that at all. So kind of cool. It's one of those things that surprised me a little bit. I never really, you know, it's kind of hard to envision it, but when you see legs like that, you go, oh gosh, that's kind of goofy. But in the hand, it feels really good. And that screen is pretty nice too. For those of you who are interested in things like the lanyard, the neck strap, the screen is up above that, so it's definitely clear and you can definitely see it. So, oh, one other thing I wanted to point, well, we'll get to the physical stuff in a minute. I'm going to check the questions one more time. Let's see. Are you planning to take? Yes, I'm going to take them for a few flights. So can someone explain how OpenTX doesn't support touchscreen at the moment? Well, because Can't the mainline OpenTX development and release line, it's just not in there. So, well, like I said, FlySky, obviously they must have forked OpenTX and added the elements for touch. That's all I can say. The trims, yeah, they're kind of neat. The trims are neat. They, you know, I think they're fine. You know, for quad guys, trims are much less of a thing because they don't use trim. Neither do helicopter guys. That's mainly a fixed wing thing. And by the way, it does support instant trim. I already put my instant trim right there. So there's a momentary there and there's a momentary over here. So good news for me is I have momentaries on both sides, but now I've got to deal with a different throttle lock. But that's okay. That's all right. The range on 2A is kind of meh. Yeah, I know. I don't really think, I think of this as more of probably like a park model, like a park flyer, right? I don't really think this is meant to be, you know, the radio that you take downrange. Maybe, you know, maybe different receiver, maybe different. I mean, it does support crossfire. You guys know that, right? It's got, we'll get into that in a minute, but it does support crossfire. So if you want to add, you know, if you want to add some long range capabilities like Express LRS or Crossfire, you can do that. Brutus says, I like the switches on the back. I'd have to try it, of course, but that seems pretty neat. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a minute, Brutus. Dan Jones is really excited to see how good the antenna and how powerful the radio transmitter is. I'm not a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of X6B receivers, so really want this to succeed. We'll check it out. Chris says very ergonomic. I would agree. It does feel very ergonomic. Does it balance on the lanyard? You know, I was going to try that out, and the answer to that is no. So I'm going to, here. I don't have a lanyard handy, but I do have a way to find out if it'll balance. So let's just going to put a little bar through there and we'll pick it up. And the answer to that is no. It hangs flat, you know, nose down, I guess. nose down on a lanyard. Let's see. Pacific Northwest Pilot says, I was excited about it when it came out, but was waiting for it to be integrated into OpenTX 2.4. Still waiting. Well, the Edge guys have it, so maybe check out Edge. Does it support X-Fire? Is that Crossfire? Yeah. Crossfire, it does support Crossfire. Looks awesome with the cover, easily throw into a backpack. Yeah, it does. And, you know, the only thing I would be concerned about throwing it into a backpack, very simply, are the switches on the back. That's really the only thing that's not protected are those switches on the back. But everything else is covered. As you can see, everything up front that moves is covered, all of it. So on the backpack, that would be the only part. Those switches here and here, those are the only ones that I think you'd be concerned with if you just did a kind of chuck and go trip with the backpack. But that plastic cover is pretty good. That's a pretty good little integration. I like it. I'm liking that. I think that's cool. Looks awesome with the cover easily. Yep, we got that. Marcel, off-axis FPV. It's a cool remote, but FlySky is one of the worst for RX for latency fail-safe issues. You know, I haven't heard that. I've heard the opposite. I have very little hands-on experience, so I'm in no position to affirm or deny, but I can tell you that my experience and what I've read, people seem to have a very favorable opinion about FlySky. So I guess we'll have to leave that to experience and firsthand knowledge, because I have no way to support, or what do the cops say? No way to confirm or deny. Lawyers say that. Okay, let's get into the rest of the physical aspects. I've already touched on the stick ends, the trim buttons. So let's finish off the switches. Again, 3 position here, 2 position here, trim here, and knob here. I can tell you guys that the knob does not make me real happy. I'm not thrilled about that knob, and I'll tell you why. They only give you 1 tab right there. That's the only tab on the knob. So I guess you can put your thumb on it and push it, but I'm already clicking buttons down here. I'm not real enamored with that. The button right here is smooth. You can't get a finger on it. It's very slippery. Just not great. I mean, the potentiometer itself feels really good. I mean, it reminds me of the Tyrannus. That's how good that is. It's got that hydraulic feel. But another thing I'll tell you, no detent. So if detent is important for you, I'm going to turn this off because the screen is messing with the brightness. So I'm going to just turn the screen off. But if the detent is important to you, there is no detent on this one. So I can tell you that the pot feels very fluid. I don't like the knob. I don't like that they only have 1 little tab right here. So to me, that looks to me like something that will wind up getting replaced, because what's going to happen is every time you use it, you're going to push on that knob, and you can see the thing moving, all right? You can see that already, and this thing's brand new. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way they did that. These deserve to be knurled so your fingers can get a hold of it and twist it properly. That's a downer. The switch on this side is 2 position here, and that is a momentary. It's a lot of momentary switches. You've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 momentary switches on the radio. That's not bad. I don't dislike that. And that is a button. You can press that button down. I hear it clicking. So that sounds like 2 more momentary switches. I'll have to see what's supported inside OpenTX, but that does feel like more momentary switches. The gimbals, I think the clear plastic, to me, that I don't know. I don't know. They are Hall effect gimbals, and I told you they feel fine. Like, they're very fluid. I don't have any problems there. The plastic thing, I just don't know what's up with the clear. That was an unusual choice. And these little red guys in there, I don't know what those are for either. I guess they're centering marks, maybe. But I don't know how I feel about that. It looks a little gimmicky to me, I guess I would say. It's a little gimmicky. Maybe they're trying a little too hard. You know, they did all this metal bluing down here. Maybe blue would have been good to match the trim buttons. That would have been fine by me. But the plastic, well, you know, whatever. They made a choice. So you love it or hate it. That's what it is. that's what it is. Love it or hate it. Let's see. On the back, let's take a walk around the back. I think I probably pointed out they have pistol grips on here. So this is one of the reasons that it feels very secure, because when you're holding it, you lock it into your hand. You can squeeze this. So when you're, and they're, by the way, these are sturdy. It feels like you could fling the radio by this thing. I mean, these things are sturdy. They're not flimsy little plastic. They're sturdy. And I've seen a lot of these gamepad style radios with little tiny flimsy things. That thing is beef, man. You get your finger on there, you feel like, oh yeah, I got a grip on this thing. So I do like that. And then on the back, notice there's a couple screw holes and a port for a module. So this does have the parts. I'll break that out in just a minute. You can attach external modules to this guy. And of course, we talked a little bit about the speakers already. Sorry, not the speakers, faux pas. Speakers right here. We talked about these switches already. These things are just feet. You see markings on there. They just indicate what switches they are. Across the top, there's the USB. Oh, there it is. There's the USB charge port. And here under there is the trainer port. I'm not going to bother with it. It's a trainer port, trust me. And then the antenna. This is the 2.4 gig antenna. For those of you who ever question about where your antenna is supposed to go, it's right here. It's right here. Your antenna is supposed to go right here. And when you're holding that, it should point right at your forehead. That's pretty much what they've got here. So yeah, that's the correct way for the antenna. And it's got a little curve. And then when you want to put it away, it just folds down into the back. Good job. All I can say is good job. They really thought through that one. So I'm going to turn this back on, and let's see. I think physically that's most of it. Let me go ahead, and what I want to do is turn on the I want to turn the volume on so you guys can hear that real quick. I'll bring it up to the microphone and let you guys hear the power on noise so you can hear that. Let me just bring the volume up. Maybe. Come on. There we go. That's challenging. And let's see. There we go. There's that. It's going to be loud. I know it is. Okay. So with that, I'm going to turn it off. That's the fastest way I can think of to make it play something. All right. I'll turn it back on again, and I'm going to bring it up to the mic.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Welcome to Switch warning. That's Amber, by the way. FYI, just so you know. That's Amber. How about that? Okay. I think that's it on the radio. Let's set that aside. Let's take a look at the box. So in the box, you also get a couple other goodies. There's an X8B in there, and there's an IA8X. So the little one, we'll just open this guy up and give you a look. This is just a little whoop receiver. Nothing major. You guys are familiar with this stuff. So there's a little whoop receiver. That's the IA8X, the 1799 one. This is the one with the fairly limited range. All right, that's that one. And then the X8B, that's this one. They say over 200 meters with this one. I expect, this looks to me like a full range receiver. This is just like all of the other standard kind of S-bus style receivers. So you can tell by looking at it. There's the receiver. It's got the same whisker antennas that you see on all the other standard Parkfly deals, and the connection cable for connections to Betaflight boards or flight computers of some sort. And then also in the bag, we've got a USB micro. You don't care about seeing that. I wanted to show you the mounting kit for the bracket. So if you want to put the bracket on the back, or the module on the back rather, so like if you want to mount a Crossfire or an Express LRS or something like that. Sorry about the noise. Oh, that's just terrible. Terrible. Boy, that was stubborn. I apologize for that, guys. All right, so there's the bracket. So what you end up doing on the back is you just take this guy, set it on there, and let's see. I'm kind of hesitant to stab it in there while I can barely see what I'm doing and it's powered on, but that's the idea. So that thing will just screw on right there on the back, and you've got a module bay that'll take standard modules on the back. So that's a cool little upgrade if you choose to use that. And if you don't want to use it, it keeps nice, clean, clean interface on the back for you. And then they also give you they call it a sound cable, but that's a trainer cord is what that is. That's a trainer cord. And then also in the box, there's a quick start guide. And this is a little bit like the Paladin, right? Same kind of deal. Shows you how to bind with the receivers that are included, which is very good. Shows you how the batteries go in. Again, 18650 batteries. Oh, there's an SD card slot. How about that? Oh, I see. They hid it. I was looking for that. I kind of wondered how they did it. Apparently, it's right under there. It lives right there. I didn't know that. I kind of wondered where they did it. I didn't think it was strictly flash, but yeah, there's an SD card. And that's it. So real simple get started guide. All right, guys, I think what I'm going to do now is look for questions, and then after questions, we're going to wrap it up. So let's see. North 49. Oh, the David Knutz arrived. Welcome, David. Glad you can make it. It's a cool remote, but FlySky. Yeah, we covered that one. North 49 says never had an issue with FlySky. Could say that about Spectrum. Yeah. I don't want to get into you guys all know what I feel about Spectrum. So let's just, let's get out of that. Let's get out of that well and move on. Coming from years of experience, most people on reviews are fake or unexperienced. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I don't know, dude. If you got an axe to grind, why don't you, well, I don't know what you're trying to say, but I do my best to represent facts, not opinion. So that's what happens here. Brutus, Joda Jodison, new phone, who dis? Okay. Brutus, Master Yoda. Okay, a little sidebar going on. Dan Jones, Marcel, really depends on the radio. I've had excellent results from them as far as 2.4 goes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is what I mean, right? It gets into a degree of subjectivity, and we have to be kind of careful about it. Wilson can, John. Yep, John, okay. I'm waiting for you. Thingiverse has multiple accessories to 3D print. I did see that. I saw that there's some grip accessories that might help. If you're a pincher, by the way, this is not a great radio. It does feel awkward if you try and pinch. I've tried a couple of different hand arrangements for pinching, and it definitely feels a little awkward. And I think I would attribute that to the width of the legs. So that the legs kind of pull your palms apart a little bit, and that makes getting up there while pinching a little more challenging. I think this radio clearly designed for the thumbers. Very easy reach if you're thumbing, but if you're pinching, it's not, to me, not very comfortable to do that. Not very comfortable at all. I think this is definitely a thumber. But yeah, I did hear about some stuff at Thingiverse that you could print that might make the pinching easier. So let's see. I think that's it. I think we've covered the radio pretty much top to bottom. I don't know if I'm going to take this one apart or not. I might take the lid off and look, but I don't really have any reason to be in there. And honestly, I guess, well, I do want to tighten those gimbal springs. So I probably will get inside and take a look around inside. Maybe I'll do that on a video. Maybe I'll do that on Discord. I don't know if this one rises to the occasion of doing a strip down just to look at the guts, but maybe I'll do something on Discord. Maybe that'll do. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm not seeing any other questions. So what I'd like to do to close this out is make sure I thank FlySky again for sponsoring the video. Oh, that's not helping. That's kind of rough. Oh, maybe I'll turn it off. That'll help with the brightness. Got to give FlySky, got to give them a look on the, their logo up there. So thanks again to FlySky for sponsoring the video and sending me the NV14 for review. I definitely will fly with it. Let you guys know what my impressions are when I get this thing up in the air and what it's like at the field. I'll talk a little bit about battery life. I'll give it a rundown. And definitely I look forward to getting Edge on this thing. I think Edge for the snippets that I want to do for Edge as they continue development work on Edge, this would be a great radio to do, also snippets on how things are progressing on Edge with this type of form factor. I know that this radio has a bit of a following out there, and I think with a refresh on the operating system, who knows, maybe it'll get a breath of fresh air, maybe a new life, and maybe more people will use it. One thing I can tell you after holding it is that I am very impressed with the way it feels. I think it feels very good in the hands. It feels solid and tight. It doesn't feel rattly or hollow or plasticky or anything like that. It feels like a well-built radio. So I'll leave it at that. Let's see. David says, thumbs up, John. Thanks, John. Smash the like button. Well, I appreciate that, guys. If you could smash the like button, that'd be great. I think that's a good enough place to stop. Thanks again, FlySky, for sending this out. I hope you guys have a great night. That's all I have for today. Take it easy.